Ready when you are, Commissioner Griswold.
I call this April 2nd, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting to order. Would everyone please stand and join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Verhey is excused. Griswold.
Present.
Hornseth.
Present.
Hubbard is excused. Allman.
Here.
And Charbonneau.
Here.
Okay, you have a quorum.
Just a note, your red lights is not on. There we go. Thank you. And now it's time for citizens' comments. We have citizens' comments on any subject except those items scheduled for public hearing. And those include the sign code, the rezone of Fort Raymond lot, and the rezone of the water tank lot in the Mount Marathon hiking trailhead. So if you have comments on that, please save them for the public hearing. Those who have signed in will be given the first opportunity to speak on any items not scheduled for the public hearing. Time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker and 36 minutes total time for this agenda item. Clara, is there anyone signed in to speak? Was that to you, Mr. Clerk? Sorry.
Nobody is signed in to speak for citizen comments.
Does anyone in the audience wish to speak?
I signed in preliminary.
So
We'll hear that at the public hearing. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda. I'll need a motion and a second.
I'd like a motion to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda? Could I have a motion to move Resolution 2024-009 to the top of the public hearing agenda?
Yes, I'll make a motion to move Resolution 2024-009 to the top of the agenda.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion?
Yeah, makes sense.
Discussion is, you guys are here and I'd like you to be able to speak first. Okay. Are there any other changes? I would like to move to postpone Resolution 2024-007, the sign code, to the May 7 meeting. And I would appreciate a second on that.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Discussion?
I don't believe you can postpone a resolution during the approval of the agenda.
Okay,
We can wait till it comes up on the regular agenda and you can make a motion to postpone.
good. Then I will make that note.
Can it be removed from the agenda?
Just to be deleted altogether.
Yeah, then I guess that would it delete it then and not be allowed to come forward in another meeting if it was removed from the agenda?
And we're talking about the resolution requiring public hearing 007,
Yeah.
The sign code?
sign code. Was there any objection to resolution 007 being deleted from the agenda?
I do not wish to delete it from the agenda. Are the options to postpone it when it comes up for public hearing? Would that mean that the public hearing would already occur? I don't want that to happen either.
Because the commissioners wouldn't be discussing it until after the public hearing was closed, and then it would go to the commission to discuss and vote.
And then we could postpone
And you
it.
could make a motion to postpone it at that point.
But then when it came back up at the next meeting, there would be no public hearing because it had already occurred. So if we decide to delete this item, Can it still be brought forward at the May 7th meeting?
Would it be brought forward and like reworded in a,
A different way? That would be fine. And then we could proceed with a public hearing on that revised document. Okay. So I withdraw my motion to postpone this at this time, and I'll bring that up when we get to that. No, tell me what I should say.
so it sounds like this item
Delete it. I
would
want
like
to
to be
delete it.
deleted
Right.
due to some errors in the
Okay.
document or whatever reason.
Okay. I move to delete Resolution 2024-007 regarding the sign code, and I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. And discussion. Since I'm the one that brought this up, I should probably discuss why.
There's no discussion during
There's no
consent
discussion.
agenda.
No discussion, okay. Then let's proceed to vote on the agenda.
Okay, so we're voting on the approval of tonight's agenda and consent agenda with the following changes. Resolution 009 is moved to the top of the public hearing list, and Resolution 007 has been deleted from the agenda. Charbonneau,
Yes.
Hornseth,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
and Allman.
Yes.
Okay, your agenda and consent agenda have been approved, and approved on the consent agenda are the February 6, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes.
Next is special orders, presentations, and reports. We have an award for Clare Sullivan to recognize her service on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And
Yeah.
who has it?
I think there's multiple. So we have an award.
Would you
then-
approach the DS, please?
City wants to offer you this wonderful plaque for your service. It was lovely to sit next to you and all your ideas that you brought to planning and zoning, and will be sorely missed.
Well, I
So
appreciate
congratulations.
that. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Oh.
for being here with us. for
Well,
the
thank
time
you.
you work.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Claire.
And I just want to say, this crew has been drinking from the fire hose. All the new guys and everything else like this, trying to do this stuff. They've accomplished a lot for the 3 years that I was on. I elected to leave from planning and zoning because I had so much on my plate and I didn't think that I was going to do it the appropriate service. So I'm hoping that once I get the things taken care of, the council and the commission may, if there's a seat vacant, I would love to come back and get back into the huddle, as it were, and do stuff. So, yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
There's a card for you.
Claire has
Thank you.
the other
Thank you
piece.
so much. Nice handwriting. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Claire.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm ready to go back after. I know you guys may not want.
Next, we have the city administration report.
All right, thank you. First of all, I want to thank the commissioners for agreeing to a doubleheader this evening. We had a work session just before this meeting, and so thank you for the additional time. I wanted to give an update on the current commission status. The last work session we did not have quorum for, so we had an information session to just present information about the commission to hopefully find some prospective individuals. And we were able to get one more since then, and so our commission is up to 6 individuals. Rhonda Hubbard was recently appointed at City Council. She had a pre-planned trip for this week, but she should be with us at the next work session. And then just update, Vanessa will be taking a leave of absence for a little bit, and I just want to respect her privacy, but she's dealing with some personal things, and so our staff just wishes her well and hope to see her back soon, which means we have 1 vacant seat left. And so again, if people are interested, we would love someone to fill that last spot, and that information session, if you were not able to catch it, it is up on the city YouTube channel, and so you can watch that and kind of learn a bit more about what it means to be a commissioner on the Planning and Zoning Commission. As someone who is new in my role, just 2 months in, and Claire in our office also it's got a month on me with some new staff members, new commissioners. We've had a lot of conversations in our office with the city clerk's office just about the process and how things run here. And so I understand a lot of the formalities of this meeting come from how city councils are often run. But the city clerk shared a document with me recently that the Planning and Zoning Commission actually has its own rules of procedure document that was created way back in 2008 and last amended in 2014. And so I think that's kind of a project I'll be kind of taking on to help me just learn more about the process, and we'll probably be filling you all in too to help make edits and updates. And use that moving forward, along with just helping the public understand some of the processes our office does. There's a dozen different applications people can fill out, but they go through different process. Some go through P&Z and then city council, some go other directions, and so we kind of want to make that easier for the public to understand, so we'll be kind of working on that kind of information. For the commission and the public, there are 3 future dates that will fall on various elections on the latter half of the year. That's August 20th, October 1st, November 5th. And so at the May 7th meeting, we've coming up with a plan with either new location and or dates for those meetings. So we'll present that plan to you at the May 7th meeting for you all to kind of discuss and decide if that's something that you want to move forward with. And the following are some projects I wanted to let everyone know that we are working on that would involve the commission. Some cool grant opportunities. Our office is on the steering committee for the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation Coastal Resiliency Grant, which was put forth by a group called Trout Unlimited, specifically for Seward to help improve fish habitat in Seward. And they're looking at a target date of after the summer kind of craziness dies down, maybe October, November, to have conversations with the public via like town hall discussions about some projects that would be of interest to the town. And so at some maybe summer work session, we might help bring that up for P&Z to maybe create like a foundation for what those topics might be or projects could be. There's the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant, which was kind of in process before I started, so I'm still learning a little bit about that, but sounds like in early May there'll be some information to the town about where that grant process is, and so we'll include the commission if it's relevant. It sounds like the administration had some project ideas already in place before I started, and so we might, if it's applicable, talk to you all about maybe a priority list for that. The first work session I attended was on the comprehensive plan, which we are getting direction from City Council and City Administration to update, and that plan was like a 10-year plan, like 2020 to 2030, and the initial idea was to have it be kind of a mid-segue update to it, but just based on conversations we've had with administration and research our office has done, a lot of towns are going towards making that more of a living document, and so we are kind of spearheading that in our office of what that would look like if we were to kind of transform that into more of a living document. And so there'll be more work sessions where we kind of update you, but we're kind of just gathering information from other departments and whatnot on that one. One of the first things I read when I started was the Municipal Lands Inventory and Management Plan, which had recently been updated at the end of last year. For the public, that's just a plan of all the land that the city owns and kind of just the recommendations and uses of those plans. And so we created a list recently that included every single like rezone and replat recommendation, and we're going to kind of start working through those, which a couple of the resolutions today involve some of the more straightforward items of just rezoning, but we would like to bring up at some point with the commission the rest of those items and kind of work maybe on a priority list, because some of them will be a little more involved or we need to wait for other things to happen. And then the city's also planning to meet with, the city's planning to develop the Harbor's South Uplands parking lot, and so we're meeting with the harbor master later this week to kind of get their ideas of a potential site for the new harbor master building, maybe some retail shops in that area, and so that we'll bring forth to you all when we have some more ideas there. And then, future work sessions, we're kind of creating a list of topics, and, starting this position with 2 meetings that didn't have quorum, this we meet every other week, but at the end of the day, there's, 12 work sessions in a calendar year, which is not a lot. And so we kind of definitely want to be intentional with our time, especially if we can't meet for every single one of those. And so obviously we kind of take direction from city council, from administration, from citizens who have ideas for us, even commissioners. I know Commissioner Hornseth came in and talked to us about some ideas that we want to include in future work sessions. And so I think at least biannually we want to bring up a list of work session topics and see what kind of priorities you all would have looking like down the road for the next few months. But yeah, we're creating a list of all those things, and we want to balance everything there. And so we'll kind of be working with you all there. At the next meeting on May 7th, the Seward Company and the Alaska Railroad Company has requested to present a 10-minute presentation to the commission on their passenger dock project and other port improvements. And so we will let them come in here and give you their information for that. And then the last thing I wanted to offer to the commissioners is, as someone who is new, kind of working in city government, in my first career, which was in higher education, I greatly benefited from my involvement in just professional organizations through networking and learning from what other schools of higher education did that I could bring to my school that I was working at, and working with and talking with Courtney, who's the city planner. She's been involved with the American Planning Association, which is a great resource that I'm starting to utilize, and they have a national planning conference every year, and we are planning on attending the virtual program, which is May 8th, 9th, and 10th of this year, and so it's all online, and the commission has some money set aside in the budget for education, and so if there's interest for any of the commissioners to partake in that conference, I'll send that information out to the commission. But I think that would be something I'm looking forward to as I start to continue to learn through this process, and wanted to make sure that was offered to you all as well. Courtney, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay, thank you.
At this time, can we ask questions of administration, like council does?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. Does anyone have questions for the administration? Okay, thank you for that report. Lots of interesting things coming up. Okay, there are no other reports or presentations, so we will move on to public hearings. The first public hearing is Resolution 2024-009. Mr. Clerk, will you please read the title into the record?
Certainly. Resolution 2024-009 of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Seward, Alaska, recommending City Council approval of the land use amendment to rezone Fort Raymond subdivision, replat number 7, lot 10A2, located at 905 Sea Lion Avenue, from an institutional zoning district to an auto commercial zoning district.
I need a motion and a second. Oh, wait. Mr. Clerk, we actually moved the water tank and the hiking trail, Resolution 009, to the front.
Yeah, that makes more sense considering the audience here. Why do I have that as 008? Was that actually Resolution 008?
No, that's Fort Raymond.
You just read 008.
Did I read 08?
No.
Oh, yeah, you read
Mr. Clerk
08,
did.
but could you read 09? That's what we moved to the top.
For some reason I have those switched.
Oh, that's okay.
No fair.
Okay, so 09 is Crabapple Street, and 08 is the Sea Lion Avenue.
Correct.
Okay, sorry about that. Resolution 2024-009 of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Seward, Alaska, recommending City Council approval of the land use amendment to rezone two city-owned properties located at 2301 Crabapple Street and 537 First Avenue to the recommended zoning stated in the Municipal Lands Inventory and Management Plan.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-009.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Administration, do you have any comments?
Yeah, so the first property mentioned in this resolution is 2301 Crabapple Street, and this is the location of the North Water Tank and Pumping Facility. It is an incorrect statement in this agenda statement that it doesn't have a CUP. It does have a CUP. It was acquired in 2015, so the substitute resolution that I've provided as a laydown corrects that error and provides some additional information about the requirements in that CUP and that the CUP would remain valid and in force despite this rezone change. And the recommendation from the Commission and the Municipal Lands Inventory and Management Plan was to rezone this parcel from single family to institutional. And the reasoning behind that is just institutional allows public utility facilities outright if it's the use of this property. Then the second property referenced in this resolution is 537 First Avenue, which is the location of the Mount Marathon hiking trailhead. And this parcel is currently zoned single family. However, it has always been used as a trailhead, and it's not going to be developed for housing, and it's going to continue to be used as the Mount Marathon hiking trailhead and emergency vehicle access to Mount Marathon. So in order to preserve this use more, this use is going to be always there, but to just make a statement that the Commission sees this as a trailhead, as emergency access, to rezone it to park. And so that is the two recommendations on this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Let's open the public hearing. Is that when I bang the gavel? I'll open the public hearing. Mr. Clerk, is there anyone signed in to speak?
There is one person signed in to speak, Cheryl Cease.
Cheryl Cease, 531 First Avenue. I have lived there for many years. As a matter of fact, my address first was 537. That's on my paperwork. But then they tell me it's 531. So anyway, that's where I live, and I have our neighbors here that live real close by. And we're real happy to hear that it's not going to be made into a park where there's slides and swings and all that, and it's going to be used only as it is right now, as a Jeep trail and emergency entrance. Our only big request is that we have some better signage. We had signs before, but they went the wrong way, and they did change part of those. But we need some bigger signs, something that we don't have to go over and tell them that they can't park there. And if they have parked there and gone up the hill, we've called the police, and they've come and taken care of part of that. I was politely told by the police I couldn't put a sign on their car and say, "What part of no parking don't you understand?" I couldn't do that anymore, just call the police. So if we could please have some decent signs put up, some big ones, so that there's no question, and the arrow's pointing towards the Jeep trail, maybe more people would understand that you can't park there. We don't mind on that street if people park in front of our homes, as long as they're not in our driveway and stop our parking. And I have never had anybody complain to me about parking on the streets. One other thing though is I was hoping that when people do park, that they don't park on the corner where you can't see around it. We had one the other day, and when I got back home, one was parked on the other side of Monroe where you can't see around it. And it's not that they didn't have a place to park, because they were the only two cars that had been parking there. So I'm hoping that we can have that taken care of and keep it the way it is and have it cleaned. And they've been doing a super job on that and leaving our bench there, and which was a memorial bench. And so all of us are hoping the same thing, that it stays as changed just to a park instead of residential. I think none of us even really figured out that that was residential, that somebody could buy it. So, but we're happy about that. So please just take care of our signs, and if you can make sure that they get those up, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else in the audience like to speak? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. And are there any comments from the commission?
Yeah, the first portion of Crabapple Street makes perfect sense. You know, it's a utility. And, yeah, that just seems fine. The first street, I know there was concern a little earlier about a spot zoning issue, but if I'm not mistaken, we did clarify that it won't be a problem, and it is okay with code. And so I think that's a fine idea, since we've cleared that up.
I didn't hear a motion in there, but could I say I need a motion to accept the substitute resolution 2024-009? Right.
You could make a motion to accept the substitute version.
Would someone like to make that motion?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to substitute the stay down for resolution 2024-009.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Discussion? Further discussion?
I discussed.
Right.
Would it be beneficial for me to just briefly explain the changes in the substitute resolution for the public and the commission?
please.
So the substitute resolution would still be recommending City Council approval of the land use amendment to rezone 2301 Crabapple Street from single family to institutional, and 537 First Avenue from single family to park. The changes in the substitute resolution would be to correct, as I stated, that there is a CUP for 2301 Crabapple, and so this resolution states that correctly. And then also at the end of the resolution, there are additional recommendations to City Council to update the municipal land inventory management plan on page 58 to state the new zoning for 2301 Crabapple is now institutional, and then update the municipal land inventory management plan on page 88 that the new zoning for 537 is park, and then to update the current and future land use maps to reflect these amendments. So nothing substantially in the resolution has been changed, just clarifying what the recommendations are to City Council for action that our office can take to show these changes have been made.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I would like the commission to consider adding to section, well, you'd have to number them correctly, but in the section, I would like to add that we need better signage. There should be large signs that have the arrows pointing towards the property right now, they both go like that. So they should point towards the property, and one is very short and one is kind of tall. They should be uniform height, uniform large size, very prominent red arrows, no parking between signs. And the other safety consideration would be to also put a sign on Monroe Street, no parking from here to the corner, to prevent that safety issue. Administration, would this be an appropriate addition to this resolution?
Yeah, my question is, do we want to recommend city council add those recommendations for signage to the municipal lands management inventory plan, or do you want it to be recommend city council to direct administration to update signage? Does that make sense? What recommendation, what action of recommendation are we wanting city council?
Would it be more immediate if it was in the resolution as these other sections are recommendations to do 1, 2, 3, and 4? Could we put that recommendation to
Yeah.
improve the signage?
Yeah, I think that this is the spot where we should put it. Just,
Okay.
would we do the recommendation for the signage into the muni land plan, or would we do it as recommending city council to direct administration?
If we direct administration to add the signage, then it could be updated in the muni land plan, that it was done, that it will be done, that it was recommended with resolution 009. So both places, is that possible? So it would be part of this updating the muni land plan, and it would also be a recommendation to council to get that done.
Okay.
Can you advise me on the wording that would be most appropriate?
Commissioner Griswold, just for the clerk here, can you clarify, are you wanting to make an amendment to this resolution? Like, for example, are you wanting to add like a section between 4 and 5?
Where would be the most, I would like to add a section. Where would be the most logical place to do it? How about between 1 and 2?
Because this is a very specific thing with these parking signs and the arrows by the Jeep Trail
Right, it's very specific.
to this resolution.
Yeah. And I think it needs to be very specific because it's been very unclear for many years. We've had all kinds of terrible solutions to the sign problem, and this is a pretty obvious, clear solution that I think would work.
So the clerk would recommend making a motion to amend and then state your amendment.
Okay,
And then that'll require a second, and then we'll vote on it after discussion.
okay, and give me a second here to wordsmith it. So I move to amend Resolution 2024-009 to include a new section 2 to upgrade the signs at the trailhead to a uniform height and large size, no parking, emergency vehicle access only, and red arrows pointing towards the center. And a second sign, a second location, no parking from here, and I believe it's 1 car length. So one standard car length back. So no parking from here to the corner on the north side of Monroe Street. Does that make sense? Does that sound good?
Can we speak now?
No, you can't.
Oh,
You
well, you were,
can, you can go. And that should help keep people from parking on your property and in places where the site triangle is inhibited. Did you get that, Mr. Clerk?
So for the clerk, can you please repeat the last part of that after you had the red arrows pointing towards the center?
Okay. A second sign that reads, "No parking here to the corner." And that would be posted 1 car length back, according to our traffic code. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
According to our traffic regulations.
1 car length back from First and Monroe?
How about, I'm a little hesitant to say 1 car length back because I'm not sure what the actual traffic regulations are. So it would be to post a "No parking here to corner" sign on Monroe, on the north side of Monroe Street. And that way, Public Works can say, well, it's usually 15 feet back from the stop sign or whatever it is. I don't know what that is. But this should be clear enough to get the sign without dictating to them, you know, what their code is.
Is it north, south, both? Why north?
Because that's when you come up to the stop sign and you're looking to maybe turn right and the car's in the way. If it was on the south side,
You're on Monroe, and you turn right toward like Avtech, right? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, turn.
That's to the north.
I don't know that
On both corners.
would a sign on the south side?
Yeah, if
Open
you're
up
on-
that side
If you're on
triangle?
First,
As you're
turning
pulled
right.
up to the stop sign, you should be able
Right.
to see up the road because that car would be behind you.
both sides.
Yeah, maybe
The
both.
audience is there.
Or if we're not sure on, you know, it sounds like you got the, you know, the no parking at the trailhead there with the arrows specifically. That one's seeming good. Either both sides to cover it, or maybe we adjust the corner one at a future time or something, or I don't know.
It could also be a separate motion if you wanted to vote on the keep trail signs first.
Okay, why don't we do that? It's good to separate those.
Okay.
Any more discussion on the first motion?
The first motion will need a second before there's any discussion.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay. So now the discussion is, could you read what?
So I'll read
you
what
wrote?
I have.
Okay.
And feel free to correct me. So the amendment on the floor is to add a section 2 to upgrade the signs at the trailhead to a uniform height and a large size that say "No parking, emergency vehicle access only," and have red arrows pointing towards the center.
Thank you.
And that has been seconded, and you can discuss it and then let me know when you're ready to
Okay.
call for a
Any
vote.
further discussion on that?
No, that makes sense.
The issue is people are parking right there at the trailhead. And we need to
In the
discourage them.
trailhead?
Yeah. But there's no issue with like knowing where the Jeep trail is, right, for like hikers. We're not talking about that signage.
Correct.
Okay.
This is traffic signs.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Mr. Clerk, call for the vote.
Okay, this is voting on just that amendment for the signage at the Jeep trailhead. Griswold,
Yes.
Charbonneau,
Yes.
Hornseth,
Yes.
and Allman.
Yes.
Okay, that amendment has been approved, and the main motion as amended is back on the floor.
Okay. I move to add new section 3 to install a no parking sign here to the corner on the north side of Monroe Street and the north and south side of Monroe Street. We'll do both sides. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion?
No, I think that works. Both of them is a good idea.
And that is with our parking code, is you're not legally allowed to park there anyways, right? Just,
Can't block the site triangle.
yeah, okay, just confirming.
You're not supposed to park that close to the corner.
Right.
People don't know that, so the signs.
Yeah, sounds good to me, just
Right.
making sure.
It's ironic that hikers are even parking that close to the trailhead, planning to hike 3 miles. Okay, without further discussion, let's call for the vote.
Okay, and the clerk is going to read this amendment for the record and just make sure I have it correct. So the amendment about to be voted on is to add a section 3, and there will be no parking signs from here to corner posted on both sides of First and Monroe.
I believe that was on the north and south side of Monroe Street.
We're past discussion, right?
No, you can still discuss it.
Yeah. So you can't do this on any corner, right? You can't park like that on any of the downtown grid corners. So you start, I mean, I understand putting a sign up, you know, here because of the Jeep trail where you get parking there a lot. But I just wonder, I mean, I don't know, are there any reasons you shouldn't put a sign there, or does it affect the community there in some way, these signs that we could think of?
It's common in certain areas to put a sign that reinforces the rules that everybody should already know.
Especially at a spot where,
Why
you
it's a
know,
problem.
yeah, where there's a reason to
Yeah.
park there because we want to hike this trail and, oh, there's a spot
Yep.
for someone out of town who doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I believe the public has supported this sign
cool,
because it has been a problem.
cool.
Brendan?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I believe the public's in support of this, based on what I'm hearing, so.
And, yeah, and these would all be recommendations to city council, who would then have to approve any actual definitive, decision to install the signs and expense any finances.
Yeah, and it could be just a good example to show that, like, you know, you're not supposed to park on corners all around town. It could have like a safety trickle-down effect. Yet, I don't think you need a no parking on every corner in town like that would be.
That would be excessive.
Right.
And if I could, these are recommendations.
Right.
So it should say in this section, Planning and Zoning Commission recommends for both of them.
Every section starts off
Perfect.
or with that phrase almost, so
Right.
yeah, we'll just use that
That's
as the
perfect.
standard boilerplate.
Thank you. I believe we're ready for the vote. Call for the vote, please.
Okay, voting on this amendment to add the no parking signs to the north and south sides of Monroe Street. Hornseth,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes.
Allman,
Yes.
and Charbonneau.
Yes.
Okay, that amendment has passed and the main motion as amended is now back on the floor.
Any further discussion?
No.
Okay, call for the vote, please.
Okay, this is the final vote on substitute resolution 2024-009 as amended. Griswold,
Yes.
Allman,
Yes.
Charbonneau,
Yes.
and Hornseth.
Yes.
Okay, that resolution has been amended and approved.
Thank you so much. The next public hearing item is Resolution 2024-008. Mr. Clerk, will you please read the title into the record?
Resolution 2024-008 of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Seward, Alaska, recommending City Council approval of the land use amendment to rezone Fort Raymond subdivision replat number 7, Lot 10A2, located at 905 Sea Lion Avenue, from an institutional zoning district to an auto commercial zoning district.
Thank you. hold on here. So I need a motion and a second.
I'll make,
Okay,
make a motion to approve resolution 2024-008.
I'll second that.
thank you. And administration, do you have any comments?
Yeah. So if you turn to page 36 in your packet, you'll see a current zoning map which highlights the parcel in question. At the beginning of this year, the commission approved the rezone for the parcel just north of it, which belongs to Seward City Tours. And that parcel was originally zoned institutional and was rezoned to auto commercial, which then left this small parcel zoned institutional in a sea of auto commercial. So the parcel to the left is currently in the process of being platted in order for the the new public works facility to go there. And part of that replat is going to include some vacating of Diamond and this other little parcel that's institutional. And so to avoid future problems with two different zoning districts in the same plat, and to correct or to make it all one contiguous zoning district rather than have this tiny little institutional zone, we're recommending that this lot be rezoned to auto commercial. And sorry, I did provide a substitute resolution for this one as well, to include additional sections recommending the update to the muni land plan and the current and future land use maps.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing. Mr. Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak?
Nobody is signed in.
Okay. I'll close the public hearing. I need a motion to accept substitute resolution 2024-008 and a second.
I'll make a motion to accept the substitute resolution 2024-008.
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion?
It's pretty straightforward. We're just cleaning up some zoning issues and getting things back to kind of where they need to be. So I think it's pretty straightforward.
I just wanted to, I guess, clarify that the small triangular lot to the south of the one in question, that one is private land, right? And that, so, but it was just related to the whole thing, just so I understand. And we're talking about vacating Diamond eventually. So my question is, what's going on with that private lot? What's their access? Because they don't have access on the Seward Highway, right?
They do
Well,
have access.
actually, that's not part of this rezone.
Yeah, well, I'm
It'll
just,
be part of the plat.
I'm just trying to understand the
Right.
background, right?
Sure, okay.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a recent rendition of the preliminary plat, but the commission will get to see that, and so we'll be able to see how Diamond is being vacated. But that triangular lot does have access to Seward. It's
They
the
do. Okay.
Is that the
smokehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that was my only comment, sorry.
Yeah, we'll go into that in detail when that plat comes up,
Yeah.
preliminary plat. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk, you call for the vote?
Voting on the approval of substitute resolution 2024-008. Hornseth,
Yes.
Allman,
Yes.
Griswold,
Yes,
and Charbonneau.
Yes.
Okay, that resolution has been approved.
thank you. Next is unfinished business. There is none, so we'll move on to new business. We have no resolutions under new business. Under other new business, we need to nominate and select a chair and a vice chair. And that is on page 49 of our packet, which happens to be the last page.
And I'd just like to mention that a commissioner doesn't have to be present at this meeting to be nominated. So Commissioner Hubbard and the current Vice Chair Verhey are not in attendance tonight, but they could be nominated for either chair or vice chair.
Serve them right for not being here. Okay, so following the directions on page 49, I open the floor for nominations of chair.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Griswold for chair.
Is
Any
there a
other
second?
nominations?
Was there a
Need
second?
A second.
Any other nominations? Okay, hearing none. I move to close the nomination and have unanimous consent. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay. And is that done then? It's
Okay,
unanimous?
that's a done deal.
All right.
There's no objection from the commission. Commissioner Griswold will be chair with a term to expire next year in March or April. It's been kind of tricky lately with the missed meetings, but it's a term that is done annually. So about this time next year, we'll do this again.
Okay. And the same process for selecting a vice chair? Let's open the floor for nomination of vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Hornsett for vice chair.
A second.
Okay. And do you accept?
Yep.
Okay, that's a good question.
You weren't asked that.
I forgot. Okay, so we have a second. May we approve this by unanimous consent? Okay, need a
Yes.
motion for that?
I'll make a motion to
And a
approve.
second?
Second.
Okay, unanimous. Congratulations, Vice Chair.
Chair.
Okay. So we've done that. And now, we'll discuss the work session topic for April 16th, 2024.
So, I think the intent of removing Resolution 2024-007 from the agenda was to bring it forward to another work session to make some corrections and additions that weren't present currently in the resolution. So, we'll have that on the agenda for the 16th, and then further discussion on Title 16 subdivisions.
Are we done with PUD for now?
Well, as far as, I'll call the developer and see, get their input and then report back to you. But yeah, I think we'll dig into the subdivision code for right now
Okay.
and, address the plan unit development as we get more information on whether we actually need plan unit development in code.
And subdivision would be Title 16
Correct.
and also 14? Are there things in there that we need to look at?
That is, Title 14 isn't under our jurisdiction or the
Okay.
plan and zoning jurisdiction, so I don't believe there's much that we can do
Okay.
to
Good.
amend that.
Okay.
Whose jurisdiction is it under?
Public Works.
Okay.
So the sign code and Title 16, does that sound good to the commission?
Yeah, that sounds nice. I'd like to make sure we fill up that work session and try to knock out two-ish. I don't know if knock them all out, but,
Right,
work on both of them, and since we have limited work sessions, we should
right.
do as much as we can.
Sounds good. Sound good? Sean?
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's do that. So our next regular meeting will be on May 7th at 7 p.m. here. Other items? There are no other items. There are no citizen comments. Commission and administration comments and responses to citizens' comments.
thank you to citizens' comments, for sure. I mean, that's helpful. It's good to see turnout like that, people coming, saying what they, giving the input they have. I really value that, so. And of course, thank you to department. Great stuff, setting us up well every time. Yeah, great work, double session.
You did it.
And just like to thank the administration for all the hard work, and then thank you to our new people, Community Development Director and Commissioner Griswold, and one more, but she's not here. But yeah, and congratulations on your chair and co-chair positions.
Thank you. Commissioner Hornseth?
Yeah, thanks, really, everybody here put in some long hours today. So thanks for doing it. And, yeah, and thank you, Chair, for adding those requirements at the end. That was, from feedback, that was good to see how it's done.
I'd just like to thank the public for a wonderful turnout of people who care and who are very experienced with that little corner of their neighborhood. They know that area the best. And I appreciate that they came out to share those comments with us and make that resolution even better. And thanks administration for working with all these substitutes that I believe were stronger and better. And commission for your flexibility in considering them. I think we had a very productive work session and meeting. Okay. Do I just adjourn? I don't need a motion to do that?
Yeah, if there's no objection from anybody and you feel the meeting is over with, you can adjourn the
Okay.
meeting and just state the time for the record.
If there's no objection, I call this meeting adjourned at 7:57 PM.